Thank you for buying the Provisional Press. This is a press in which you will have assembled, and hopefully by now you have already gotten the packet. As you can see here, this is a fully complete Provisional Press. It has essentially two main parts. It has the press bed, and then it has the cylinder head. And so the cylinder head is made out of a piece of PVC pipe and some framing around it. The base is quite simply just a box that is type high, or built to be type high. So the first thing that you'll need to do as you get your press is you'll need to make sure that you have all of your tools and parts gathered. So in just a second, we'll go through that. For the first part of assembling your press, you'll need to gather 4 parts. You'll need the 2 sides, which, as you can see here, have 8 countersunk holes on one side and 4 countersunk holes on the other side. Again, you should have 2 of those. And then you'll need the 2 end pieces. These should come labeled in your box. They have 2 countersunk holes on one side and just the holes going through on the other. To assemble these pieces, we'll eventually want to glue them. With the glue, one thing that I would recommend is having a damp paper towel handy as well, just to keep your fingers clean. So I'm going to set one of these aside for now. I'm grabbing one of these. You'll find that it'll make your life a lot easier if you go through and hold this piece of wood firmly with your left hand, and then push on the screw and get it started with your right hand, trying to keep it flush against the side here, and flush against the bottom, and flush against the top. I'm going to then take that screw out, do the bottom as well. Just get it started and pull it out. Okay, as you can see here, we now have 2 holes. We're now ready for the gluing of it. So we'll take our wood glue, put a line of glue like that, and then just kind of rub it around with your fingers or a little brush. Try to keep it off the sides. That's why I have a little paper towel here, so I can wipe my fingers. And then, of course, with the countersinks out on this piece and the 8 countersinks out on this piece, I'm going to put those back together using the holes that I just created. And screw those down until it snugs up. Again, same thing with the bottom piece. So now I have that glued together. If you have any extra glue that comes out, because maybe you applied glue a little bit heavier, go ahead and wipe that out now. So now we're just going to repeat that again. So again, I have my 8 countersinks on the outside. again, I'm just starting my holes. If you have a drill and want to do this with the drill, of course, that would be the faster way to do it. So again, I have 2 holes. And then again with the 1¼ inch screws, the longer of the screws. Again, this would be much faster with the power drill. So now I have one side attached. I'm going to get my second side. So our next step will be attaching what are called the cleats to the press. So you should notice that they have orange paint on one side of them and not on the others. If you can find the prettier side and have that, the orange side will face up. Try and find the prettier side and have that face towards the inside of the press. So if you can see here, I have the countersinks on the bottom, on the outside. The long pieces are going to go in there with the orange painted side up. Just making sure everything fits first. Then what we're going to do is we are going to glue the cleats to the inside of the press bed. So again, I have my glue here. And so when we are attaching these, it's really important that you get them flush on the bottom. So if you feel across the bottom and you feel a difference between the 2 parts, that means you need to move one up or down a little bit. Once you have them nice and flush, you're all set. And so we're actually just going to hold on to this for a minute until it starts to tack, which means when it starts to hold on its own. It should take a minute or 2. Okay, that's starting to hold, so I'm going to leave that be. I'm going to find my other one, again with the orange side facing up. Again, apply glue. Brush out that glue so that it stays nice and smooth and even. And we're going to put it in the press. Again, flush to the bottom with the orange side facing up. Make sure that you're wiping off any excess glue as you go. Okay, now that those are setting up pretty well, I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the first side that I started working on, and I'm going to grab 4 of the 1-inch screws. And as you might have guessed, I'm going to start assembling or driving those into these holes on the bottom. Okay, so now I have these screwed in the outside and glued down. For the next step, I'm going to need my 2 smaller cleats. They go top and bottom. We're just going to do the same thing with them, except we're going to use the 1¼ screws as opposed to the 1-inch screws. Same exact process will look very similar, just with different screws. Okay, now we have our box finished for now. We'll add 2 pieces later, but I like to let this dry for a minute, so